Dwayne, I grew up in the countryside, and when I was 15, my biggest threat was being chased by a cow in the local field.
Yeah.
Can you put me in the headspace of you as a 15-year-old?
At 15, my biggest threat was probably warring with someone, being stabbed, shot, chopped at 15. So it'd be life threatening. They were my kind of threat at the time, in my teenage years. Being stabbed, shot, chopped. Yeah.
Did you viscerally feel that emotion? Did you feel that fear, or were you just
No,
fearless?
I was fearless. I was fearless of, I think my trauma was the driving force of being fearless, not caring, because I was taught as a child, if I went in crying saying someone hit me, I'll get a clap and tell me to go and effing hit them back. So I was programmed and I think desensitized throughout my journey of life as a teenager.
Would you consider yourself a bit of a lone wolf as a teenager, or did you have a group of mates, people you looked up to?
I always wanted to fit in with the older boys. They were like, so when I was like 10, 11, they were like 20, telling me, no, I can't, but I sneak through their windows when they're up doing drugs, A, B, and C. And it was a thing where I wanted that belonging, that acceptance, but I didn't get it. And then later on in life, I would be with different people, but I kind of, as I got older, I realized that I was that lone kind of soldier, one man soldier, because you find out that people aren't your friends or these associates, so-called friends, that you realize the reality within that world that I was in. It wasn't even real. It was an illusion. Codependency, trauma bonding, people that have come from similar backgrounds of yourself, and then you get into alcohol, drugs, crime, etc. And then, yeah.
Is there a particular moment, a story, a moment in time where that came true, where you realized the people you're hanging out with aren't actually your mates?
Yeah, I think that was when I was sitting in a hospital bed, half dead. I got chopped in the head with a machete, paralyzed on my left side. I couldn't move. And the only people that was there were the ones that care. No one was there. And when I was warring on the streets, no one was for me. And that's when I realized that I was alone. So that changed my whole mindset and attitude towards the people that I thought were my friends.
What type of changes did you make after that incident?
It wasn't instantly, but after that, obviously, whilst I was in the criminal world, I just started just not caring about people and obviously being a problem within that world. It was only when I transformed my life is when I cut people out. I didn't associate with anyone to remind me of who I was so I could be who I am. Because the more you're reminded of who you are, you're more unlikely to be who you are. So that's where through years of experience, I was able to learn from the experience, learn from the relationships, learn from the trials and tribulations till I actually closed the door to each. It took some time, it took some years with drugs, with alcohol, with people, till I eliminated anything that brought a risk to me. I minimized the risk to the point where now I don't have anyone around me. Unless it's business, my life's a business. So I look at my life as a business, minimizing risk, opportunity. So I calculate my life, I calculate my relationships when I'm speaking to people, and I'm weighing things up. Can we complement each other's work? Yes, don't get me wrong, I do serve some people, but it will be at a distance now, because I used to wear my heart on my sleeve, serving everyone, giving people opportunity that they haven't worked for. So where you've given someone something that they haven't worked for, they take it for granted. They don't appreciate it. But when you work for something, you appreciate it. So I was giving, I thought I could serve everyone, until I realized that I can't, that I have to safeguard myself. And there was years where I was looking after everyone, trying to be a hero to everyone, but it doesn't work. But yeah, if that answered your question, I went on a little bit of a
When you say looking after people in your younger years,
now, not so much my younger years, it was more of when I made a transition.
right?
So when I made my transition into my new world,
Yeah.
becoming conscious, becoming aware that I'm a creator of my reality. My thoughts create my feelings create my emotions are the driving force of my behavior. But my feelings is creating a vibrational frequency that goes into the universal ocean. The universal ocean provides me whatever I'm feeling, because the feeling, capital letters, is the vibrational frequency. That is the energy. So whatever you're putting out is going to come back to you. If you can consciously, intentionally stay in a frequency, then you're going to attract the life with your intention. So when I discovered this, when I became super conscious, I realized that I have to safeguard myself. I can't be triggered to fall unconscious, because if I fall unconscious, I'm going to be creating things that I don't want to experience because of my feelings. So I've had to safeguard my feelings, because when you've got people from your past, they will try to push the boat out. The world where I came from, it's survival of the fittest. You rob, you manipulate, you lie, you rob off your own people, A, B, and C. So it's a different world. So where I come out of that world, and then I'm in this world, I thought, oh, it's good. I'm not a criminal. I don't break the laws anymore. No one's going to rob me, but they are robbing me of my energy, my kind nature, and me, my time, my opportunities. And it took some years to actually comprehend that, to realize they don't mix. You can't help people until they want to help themselves. So that's what I mean. Obviously, once I transitioned, I tried to help people from that world, but it didn't work, because they had the same mindset, the same conditioning. You give the homeless guy £1 million, he'd be homeless within amount of time, because it's the condition, the inner condition, that's made him homeless, that won't go away, because it's an inside job. Nothing outside of you is going to change until you change the inside.
When exactly did this process of you changing tracks and becoming more conscious about, I guess, your morality and the value you want to deliver and the inner work you were doing yourself, did this begin after that incident you mentioned about the machete attack, or was this years later?
Years later. There was many other near-death experiences after that. But when it was, I was in a hotel with prostitutes, cocaine. No one would come near me. And then I woke up in the morning crying like a baby. Dark night of the soul. But I was 27 years old. The only feeling that I knew, the only way I knew to obviously escape that feeling was prison. So I went out, got myself arrested, not consciously, but subconsciously. And then I got locked up, but this time was different, because I surrendered. I tapped out, totally surrendered. And when I tapped out, I prayed. And when I prayed, I went to sleep that night. I was vibrating from head to toe. The only feeling I can explain was pure ecstasy running throughout my body, but I'm in the cell sober. And then later on that day, I think I was watching Hollyoaks EastEnders. I thought, what's this nonsense I'm watching? Put the TV by the door, give it to the officers. So now I'm just meditating in my cell, meditating, going to the gym, reading books, stop swearing, stop doing this, looking after people that are being bullied, and started actually stepping into my hero, stepping into who I was destined to be. and then started changing everything about me, facilitating courses. And that still small voice said, write down, create a program for you before the trauma, before the A, B, and C. So I wrote it down on a pad. And then probation come out and said, what are you going to do when you get out, Dwayne? I said, I'm going to get a job. She said, what if you don't get one? I said, I'll create one. I got out, went to approved premises in Oxford, sign on every 3 hours because I was a mapper. I ended up getting a job labouring with a agency. Met Dave. Dave met me with Neil. Neil was doing a roof down in Little Marlow, Mel B's old house, the Spice Girl in Little Marlow, Buckinghamshire. I went to do the roof with Neil. The banker, that house it was, employed me, took me off the hard labouring work, and then I became his gardener, the butler, for 2 years. That was life humbling me. And through that, I was able to do my driving, pay bills, and become a human being. And even to the point, life was humbling me. Even I was to pick the daisies, the things you make a wish. And I said, yes, sir. You have to be a yes man before you become a boss man. I just picked him. I was 29 years old and I had kids that were like 6 years old, and he had me picking them. But at the time, it just went over my head. I was free spiritually, psychologically. I was working, I was going home, I wasn't in the prison cell, the sun was shining. So it went over my head. When I look back now, I think to myself, wow. But it wasn't the fact that, oh, because the old me would have said, oh, who's mugging me up? Oh, I'm not doing that. But it just went over my head because if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I looked at it that it's not even him asking me, it's life. Life was humbling me before I become a boss man. Little while later, I ended up going into a children's home, senior position, whilst I'm still on prison license. I had keys, all the kids were in bed. I'm the only staff member there. How do you do that? I started breaking all limitations. Then I thought I need to get into the prisons. I got into Feltham Young Offenders, working for a company doing youth work. But I never went in there to do youth work. I went in there to do military work, to work with the young boys from North, South, East, West London that are in for murder, for this crime, grooming, exploitation. So I went in there for that. So I went to hand my notice in to Lucy in education. And Lucy said, don't hand it in because you've got nothing to fall back on. I said, Lucy, I live by faith, not by sight, being sure of what I hope for and certain of what I do not see yet. I handed it in. About 2 days later, I see the number one governor in the gym, Glenn Knight. Went up to him like an eagle. He said, sure, come in, do a presentation. I'm driving on the motorway, all suited and booted, to go and give the governor a presentation now. He's had a taste of the work that I've done in there. Got to the meeting, done the presentation. He shook my hands on the contract. He looked up and down. He said, do you fancy doing a session in the gym? I said, yeah, why not? I ended up doing 4 years in Feltham Young Offenders, walking around with keys, access to National Offenders Management System. I built a curriculum. I built a team of mentors. Now, the people that were hired me doing the youth work with red tops, I become their competitors in the same place. How do you do that? I transferred my skills. So the skills that I had on the streets as a kid, a 6, 7-year-old child, shoplifting, knocking at people's doors. Do you want to buy this for £1 or box of Maltesers? Do you want to buy this 10p? I transferred my skills, and now obviously I'm a mover and shaker within personal development. I've done 4 years in there, got OCN Centre. OCN Centre, Open College Network. I can't even spell now. But Richard Branson said on the island, a young entrepreneur thought, this is my time now. So he's gone up to him on the barbecue. He said, Richard, if there's one bit of information that you could give me, what would it be? He said, hire people that can do things that you can't or better than you and leave them to it. And that's what I've done. So we've got our open college network, OCN London. We got level 1, 2, and 3 in the I Am way. The I Am way is a methodology that I've created from my personal experiences of breaking all limitations, from getting into the prison, into the children's home, sitting on the board of Buckinghamshire, where I've been chosen to sit as a swan envoy. So you've got the likes of Lorraine Kelly, David Livington, MPs that sit on this board. I've been invited to sit on this board. I've just received a humanitarian award, leadership shifter from Vegas. and another one from Dubai, from the work that I've been doing. And that's due to the methodology that within the I Am way. And we've got level 1 to 3 in mastermind mentoring in the I Am way. So yeah, I feel going back to your question, I feel privileged. I feel like a new creation. I don't even feel like the same person, or I'm not the same person that I would previously was.
Dwayne, when you went to Felton Prison and you're speaking to, let's say, people my age, 25 years old, who committed murder, perhaps they've been given 10, 15, 20 years behind bars. What are you telling these guys?
How to play the game. I would show them how to play the game, how to jump car system, communicate, awareness, relationships. Despite you're in a situation and circumstance now, you can still be free, spiritually, psychologically. The last sentence that I done, the 2 years behind the door, I've done 6 months, 8 months, 18 months before, and it's been hard. The last 2 years that I done, I was waking up one of the happiest persons in the jail, because prison isn't a location, bars or windows. Prison is a state of mind. If you surrender and you have purpose and tap into yourself, you can still be productive and serve and be a beacon of light and positivity within the prison. I was serving. I was serving that much. I was getting treated as if I was a staff member. And the thing is, what you got to understand is, I would give them skills on how to play the game of people skills, communication, effective communication, and just being at service for people. I was changing people's life whilst I was still in prison, before I got out and made a career for it. So I would show them how to play the game, stay away from the drugs, the phones. That's just going to take your release date even further away. And yeah, I really inspired a lot of lifers. I still get calls today. I've worked with the likes of Bigger Dig That, SJ, like some of these, like North London, OFB, SJ. I've worked with a lot of them. I've still like got certain connections. I've even used them with the PowerPoints in schools, because I've got like them speaking to the audience of the young people in school to say, look, this isn't the way. But yeah.
When you're speaking to Diggity, what are you telling these guys?
Now, this is obviously when they were younger, but I would show them about meditation. So they'd be giggling and then I'll make them sit. We wouldn't play the chess until we've done at least 5-10 minutes meditation, because they'd be all giggling, laughing, because they wouldn't be able to do it. And in the end, they face their chair against the wall, and then they'd do their meditation. I was showing them about visualization, intention, before they become big stars, yeah? And then you heard the tune that he talks about energy. But I was showing this from previously when he was obviously ignorant to it. So I know I made a big impact within these young men now, their lives across the UK.
Dwayne, our prison system is really underfunded when it comes to rehabilitation and giving offenders the skills to be successful when they get released. Have you got an example of maybe someone you worked with, you gave advice when you were in prison, where you can look back and say, I'm actually really proud of what I did and what this journey, the journey that this particular offender took?
Yeah, I had a friend, associate that I grew up with. And where I left that world, every few years I'd go and see him. And when I'd go and see him, I'd visit him and I say, here's death, here's life. And he'd choose death every time. And then in the end, I got a letter through, a poor me letter. Oh, mum's dead, A, B, and C. And then I said to myself, maybe this is the time. I went to go and visit him. I got the food, went up to the counter, I got the Ribena Chris, went to go sit down. Then he's come out with something. And whatever he come out with was nonsense. So I got up to go. And I got up, he goes, where are you going? I said, I'm a businessman now. I said, I ain't got time for it. I've done an hour and a half on the motorway. I'm going to sit here for an hour, 2 hours, and an hour. That's half a day. I said, I ain't got time for it. When you're ready to change, give me a shout. And I've gone to walk off. He's gone, D, where you going, man? I said, when you're ready, give me a call. I ain't got time for this. So I've gone to walk off. He's gone, D, give me 1 minute. Gone, I sat down. I goes, go on. He goes, what do I need to do? I said, stop taking drugs. Stop the drugs, A, B, and C. I said, and then he followed the path. He's never been back since.
Amazing.
I don't really have it with him now because he doesn't have the kind of integrity, not integrity, I wouldn't say that, certain, like, it doesn't work in coherence where I'm going. You know, it's about safeguarding and A, B, and C. Not that he's doing crime, he's obviously got a family, A, B, and C, but I can't have certain people in my inner circle because of where I'm going, what I'm doing. But I love him from a distance, done my job there, but that's someone that, and a lot of other people that's changed their life from a distance to see, because I was the worst of the worst. So they're looking from a distance thinking, wow, if he's done it, I can do it. I know I give a lot of people inspiration because I was the worst of the worst when it comes to, being a write-off.
Dwayne, when you came out of prison and you got this job labouring, working in the garden, do you remember how much money you were earning?
Yeah, £400 a week.
£400 a week.
Yeah, and if I'd done Saturdays as well, so it worked out probably £500. So it was tight.
Right, so you're earning £500.
So, like,
you've got 2 kids.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing previously you were probably making a lot more money doing whatever you were doing in your previous life. How did you resist that temptation to not make an extra £5,000 a week by dabbling into drugs?
Because it was peace, freedom, and walking the straight and narrow. It was nice. I knew there was bigger things ahead. I knew I just had to stick to the rules, play the game. There's universal laws. And an old man come to me, one of the labourers, brickies, at a lunchtime. I'll give you an example of why. And you know when you're getting a bit weary, thinking, oh, this is long. And he gave me a hammer, brand spanking new hammer. This hammer I've still got now. And it was brand new, still in the plastic, yeah? And you know what it said on it? Faithful. He don't even know why he gave me it. But I know life gave me it. Just like life was getting me to pick the daffodils, life gave me the hammer to say life is faithful. And throughout that process, I always knew, even before I left prison, even now to where I am now, I'm not here now, I'm in the future. I know that my life was destined, and every single person on the planet, once they tap in to the power within, they're able to do things that they wouldn't even think is possible, because they haven't been taught from the traditional education, religion, the institutions of how powerful they really are. And through my methodology and my program, that I help people discover who they truly are, shift the mindset to enable them to install new software to create realities beyond their imagination. How could I? Criminal convictions as long as my arm, front and back, 9 pages. First conviction at 9 years old to 29 years old, stabbed, shot, chopped, not trusted in society, to go into a prison, have keys to YOs, Feltham Young Offenders, and Bullingdon, the jail where I got charged with a mobile phone in 2010, and they sent it to an outside court. How did I walk into my local with keys? This is what you call supernatural, from natural to supernatural. And we've all got the ability. We've all got the same 24 hours. We've got the same power and essence of life that flows through us. The same breath, we have it all, but it's just tapping into it and executing and harnessing it. And that's what I was privileged to discover through the suffering, the trials and tribulations of cracking the ego. Don't get me wrong, it gets pumped up here or there because we still live in this earth suit. But this earth suit is just a vessel to move me around on earth. I'm not my name Dwayne. That's just a name that got given to this body. I'm not my 80% water, or my cheeks, or my nails, or my hair, or my toenails. No, this is just my earth suit, so I can express myself on earth. Just like when NASA goes up to space, they got the earth, the space suit, so it can anchor them down on the moon, or else they wouldn't be able to survive up there. This is just my earth suit. So it's understanding that, and it's understanding that there's something in this earth suit, and it's building an intimate relationship with it, using the energy of it to be able to manipulate matter to evolve and unfold the reality that you want to experience. It starts off within here, as above, so below. If you know, you know.
Dwayne, I find it fascinating that when it comes to rehabilitation, you talk about all of this inner work and that amazing monologue you just gave. When it comes to prisoners and the prison system, there's a lot of talk about what the government should be doing, what prison governors should be doing to help rehabilitate. You've not spoke once about what the government should be doing or the prisoners. What you're saying is self-responsibility for you to do the inner work.
Yeah.
Do you see any place for governors and government to assist prisoners, or do you put it solely down onto prisoners to reform themselves?
One has to take responsibility. However, there is contributing factors to be able to contribute to the actualization of the prison population. If you put the seed in the soil, then the seed will grow. There needs to be the right fertilizer within the jails to enable the seeds to grow, because them seeds, whether it's a year sentence, 2-year sentence, 3-year sentence, 10 years, 20 years, that seed is on the side there. Yeah. But if you take that seed and put it in the soil, and then it's exposed to light and water, guess what? That stays there. That seed, you come back in 20 years, the seed's still the same. This seed now has produced fruit. There's a lot of seeds within the prison population that could be fertilized and used and evolved and actualized so that they become not just positive members of society, but actually they could be used as a resource even within the prisons. I was before I got out, and I know within the prison system, there needs to be I've got a theory of change, but they don't want to hear it. They're not ready for it. A theory of change that could go plop into a prison, yeah, and they work this theory of change and the concept, and it could shift. We'd fill out the whole sports hall, whether it's 50 men at a time, 100 men. They got workbooks, and we take them through, yeah, the I am way of rehabilitation and resettlement. And I can guarantee you now, there'll be lives being transformed. And then you have employees out here, yeah, an ecosystem. So they go through the program, then they meet a certain mark that we know, because we can discern. We know bullshit when it's bullshit, and we know the real ones. And then they come through straight into employment, and then there's a cycle like that. And then they can go into the schools to then empower the young people to prevent them. And then as they're building themselves up, it's just one big ecosystem. It's being used, yeah. But you have to take risks. You have to think out the box. You have to do out of the box. You have to use the resources. There's no point hiring these. Yeah, you could get one or two forensic psychologists or whatever to maybe not even co-facilitate. Yeah, should this obviously contribute and work along. But what they will do, what it is too much. There's too much to do with data and statistics, yeah, rather than proof of the pudding. I'm all about this change. Collect the data after, but what goes wrong? They just want. They sit down with the prisoner. They just want. What's going on in here? Yeah, but with regards to my methodology, I'll go in, I'll say, yeah, I'm Dwayne Nathan Jack, one council estate, single parent family, domestic violence, A, B, and C, stabbed, shot, chopped, yep, smoking crack at 13, yeah, boom, boom. I'll do that. And then guess what? The other person will do? Go pour out everything. Because I'm giving, they give. But with these psychiatrists, all they do is take the data. They just want information for database. There's not really the intervention that's going on, and there's a lot of manipulation in reports and stuff like that. When, to be honest with you, the government could really make a big shift. All they need to sit down with certain people like myself. Yeah, they could make massive changes, not just within the prison population, within the education. There is going to be moves because we're on it. Me and my team are on it. We're studying. He's doing dissertations within masters in education, but the education, how that affects and how we can make a new concept with experience rather than just academic. Because a lot of people within the education system is built one for all and all for one. That's why you got so many kids on SEND, special educational needs, because not everyone can learn like that. I left school at primary school, but that didn't stop me getting into the boardrooms and sitting with like band eights and sitting with people that have got degrees, PhDs, and that are government ministers. I ain't got no education. How did I do that? That's through my experience. That's through soft skills. But how do you measure the soft skills? Well, you can't until the end. But what we do, we measure on that test how intelligent that person is by the test of the literacy, numeracy, A, B, and C. But yet that person that had no literacy, numeracy managed to go further than the person. Do you understand? We need to look at what these curriculums and to save future generations, I believe.
You're an effective talker, you have lots of charisma, and you have those soft skills, which you just mentioned. Did you learn these back in the council estates when you were growing up, or is this something that you learned in prison and through your journey of change?
I went on beta squad. I was on beta squad with those guys, and they asked me to get a prison officer or someone, and I got my yacht worker. So when I was 15, my yacht worker, Kim, you can see it next time when you're on YouTube. And she said, one thing that Dwayne always had, even though he was naughty, but he always had manners. Yeah? Please and thank you. I think I evolved it. My mum obviously tried to install it within me to have manners, but I think I actually learned how you be nice to people. People be nice to be. The more you smile, the more you're friendly. And I actually, my brain started releasing the chemicals, and then I started realizing, wow, I was about 27 years old the time I started smiling. And guess what? Life started smiling back at me. Before then, it was screw face like that. So then I started learning, and I thought the feedback's much better. Wait there. So then I become addicted to serving. Like, I only have to walk down the street. See, you all right, miss? I'm just speaking. And I'm putting a smile on people's faces because there's a law as well. It's not ask and you receive, it's give and you receive. So I just started giving, and then I'm starting to learn these patterns now. And then that's when you start actually thinking, wow, the more you serve, the more you're served. Not that you're doing it with the intention to be served, because it's a pure heart. However, there is universal law. So it's through the development of me learning through suffering and experimenting the laws and the faculties of life, basically. Because I come from the street, I couldn't put a sentence together without speaking like I was road. Do you understand? But then I realized, how do you get into the boardroom? How do you sit around? And then obviously the banker as well. I had to take out my gold teeth, and obviously I've got tattoos now because I'm an expression of me. I'm my own boss, however.
Are you grateful for those experiences in prison?
I'm grateful for every single experience of my life, the good, the bad, the ugly, because without them, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. The only thing I regret is the people that I might have hurt along the journey. But apart from that, I embrace my hurt because it was my hurt and pain that was enabled me to evolve purpose.
And are you in contact with anyone from maybe 10, 15 years ago? Or is it all cold turkey?
Yeah, I've kind of evolved consciously. Not that I'd never better than anyone else or anything like that, but it's just I've evolved and I'm on a mission and I haven't got time or energy or risk to go there. Don't get me wrong, if I see someone, I might have a chat or A, B, and C, but people haven't got the same kind of drive. And then you can bring insecurities out in people where you've evolved, and there's visually you can see from the expression, from how you look, from how you walk, you talk, your dress sense, and sometimes the light may be bright and it makes people feel insecure.
Talking about expression, something that's, I guess, a little bit controversial is drill music.
Mm,
There's been lots of politicians, people from the Metropolitan Police who have come out and been like highly critical of drill music, given the lyrics, which people like Digga D, Dig That
mm,
will rap about. What's your opinion on drill music and kind of a message it sends?
mm.
Do you see it just as an act of self-expression, or can you see a circumstance where it actually glorifies a particular way of life to a younger generation?
Just on a general, generic, universal, yeah, music can be used for good and for bad. There was one stage of my life where I have all my rap CDs in my cell, but I woke up, I got rid of them. This is when I was at the extreme of my spiritual. I got rid of them. Obviously, I got a little bit worldly throughout the years, but I listened to rap sometimes. Like you got pot of paper. It's an expression of my experiences. Like I rap a little bit as well of my previous life. But with regards to some of the music now, I can't relate to this trap, this drill. Obviously, the bit of like selling drugs, etc. When I was, but I can't relate to this chop, stab, ribena, and ketchup, and all young people going out to just take life. So I can't relate to that, and I don't think it is healthy. Knowing the subconscious mind and the universal laws. If you're doing mantras on killing someone and taking life and A, B, and C, it's not good energy. So I don't, yeah, different strokes for different folks, but it's not good for the youth or the population or the culture because it's only a driving force to take out human life. Why would you be glamorizing and speaking about something that's so negative that takes life? So yeah, I don't, obviously you've got music that people can do expression of their experiences, but not promoting to go and chop, stab, ribena, ketchup and tomato sauce and all that. It's this, nah, for me, I'm a mature man, do you know what I mean? I'm 40 years old. It was different music back in my days. This culture and generation has changed dramatically, and the youth for today are different, completely different. You got like, yeah, groups 20, 30, 15. Remember, I've sat down with young boys that are doing 20 years. I've been cutting their hair in Felton when they got 20 years. I see SJ when they come back from court with like 20 years, 21 years. A broken little boy coming onto the wing, having to go back to his cell. The reality, I've seen broken little souls of young boys with these big, massive sentences. I've seen it with my eyes in the prison when they got off the van. I'm there trying to pick up their spirits, trying to pray for them, trying to help them, encourage them. And there's only two ways you can go: carry on with the ego, put your rap music, do your press ups, think, yeah, I've got this, just coping strategy, or it's finding yourself. But because of the environment, you're not going to go with finding yourself because that's becoming soft and vulnerable. And you can't be like that in environments. So it's only a small minority that will actually find themselves. The rest will just carry on with the program of the identification of the character that committed the A, B, and C, the culture, and they carry on with that character, and they will never, ever, 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 ever know themselves because they've identified with the character that's not them, and people are feeding the character on the wings, that prison, and before you know it, you fed the character that much, you become an illusional character till the day you die. And that's the facts of it. And through the grace of God, I'm just glad I'm here today and I'm able to be me and not performing or trying to be someone. And that's the thing about it. Many people don't want to be or too scared of themselves or never had the opportunity to discover themselves or be themselves because they're either too scared that they're not going to fit in. They need validation, people, belonging. So there's only certain warriors that are ready to walk the walk on their own. Because other people, if you got no backbone, they need people. They need people to feed them. But that's yeah. But music is a beautiful thing with the right lyrics, the right story, the right message. Like I listen to a lot of I've got a few artists that I listen to, but it just brings me back memories of where I came from, where I am now, and even like my music because it's a it's expression, even experiences of life, whether it's girls or this, that, or whatever. It's a story. Music's a story. So I don't agree in horror stories because your subconscious mind. It's like I don't agree in horror movies. Why am I going to sit there and let that go into my subconscious mind? It's the same as listening to murder, kill, A, B, and C. Why are you going to put that into your mind when your mind creates your reality? That's for me.
With this younger generation, we've seen stabbings, gang activity on the rise in the last kind of 5-7 years. What do you think is missing from this generation? Why do you see young people getting more wrapped up with this type of stuff from a younger age and the violence actually getting worse?
No identity, lack of positive parental guidance, lack of resources within society, and the contribution of obviously trauma within the household, and then cannabis, and then marginalized in school, and the schools not being prepared to assist, and then going to pupil referral unit from youth offending, and then ABNC, and that's the ripple effect. Schools is a big contributing factor. Education, yeah, because if you're educated, then you've got a choice. But if you don't know, I never knew what crack done. If I knew what crack done at 13, when he went to say he'll try that, I wouldn't have done it. If I before and after, this is what it does. This is what that drug. There's the before. There's the after. It makes you do this. It makes you do that. Boom, boom. Even alcohol. This is what it does. This is someone dying where they started drinking alcohol at this age, and then they become. I think, oh, his relationship's resilient. So when there's a breakup in a marriage or a girlfriend or boyfriend, there's no soft skills. Yeah, and then obviously with young single parent mums, yeah, education is a major thing because that's where people spend the majority of their time. Education, then work. Then they take it into the corporate companies, all them problems.
How many kids do you have?
I have two.
Two. How do you raise them?
How do I?
What type of lessons, morals do you try and teach them through your actions?
I basically say this does this, that does that. Now make your decision or your choice. Yeah. I won't entertain that, but I'll entertain this. If you do that, yeah, you'll be rewarded with A, B, and C. You go that way, you get nothing and plenty of it. Make your choice. I'm here if you need me or if you fall over. Because you have to experience. Do you understand? You have to experience. Sometimes people have to experience that way. Let me break it down to you. Yeah? My son told me because he started going down that road. And I told him, don't go there because A, B, and C. But because he's light skinned, and some of these light skinned boys and black boys, they think because they're black, because they're light skinned, that they have to be a certain way. They have to be gangster because or else. So they're programmed to think they're that. So they have to go out and trap or do A, B, and C. My boy come to me and said that he got pistol whipped. Yeah. And I go, okay. And I kind of know anyway where it came from. Even though I'm not in that world, I kind of know because I know the areas A, B, and C. But what I done, I said, because I told him don't mess around, but he didn't listen. So I'm not going to think, oh, that's my son, A, B, and C. No, maybe that's taught you a lesson. Yeah. Because life has a way of doing things. So the way my mindset thing, yeah, I was like, okay, yeah. But I look at things completely different. That's maybe taught you a lesson to get off the streets now, get off the roads. Do you understand? Why am I going to go into that world after I've told you A, B, and C? So life has a way of doing things, and that's the way I look at it. Like the old programming, would you go and do A, B, and C? But the new programming is that's a lesson that these boys have done. I'm looking at these boys have done. That's good. Let him may that teach him a lesson to come out of that world because it will get worse. And this is what young people don't understand. Yeah, from when you go into the streets, yeah, you're putting yourself at risk. You're putting family at risk to go jail, dead, A, B, and C. So you have to take responsibility of what you're doing. Are you with me? So that's a personal kind of close to home that I dealt with my son. And the thing is, that was even for him. You know, a lot of parents do parent alienation. So they turn their child away from the other parent and get into their heads of conditioning. So I haven't. If that never went on, my boys, but he when it went onto the street. But because he was so confused, he couldn't love his dad or couldn't be with his dad because then he feels that it's going against his mum, the carer. So what's happened? I've been trying to maintain a relationship with my boys for the last 10 years. Do everything and bend over backwards, but they just take the piss. And because of their conditioning, obviously I forgive them, but because of their conditioning, because what they've been taught. If you're taught your dad's this or your dad's that, or A, B, and C from young, and then what's going to happen? Tell the little kid about the bogeyman, the bogeyman, the bogeyman, the bogeyman. So then now, but that's just life. I believe everyone's life they've got to evolve. I'm not attached to feelings or emotions like that. I just do the best of my ability of to the people that I can, and for the people that I can't, they got to go and experience life some more, and then I'll be here to lift you up, give you a hug, brush you off. Until then, I only entertain positive energy, love, peace, kindness, creativity, make a splash before I cross over. Anyone wants to contribute and we make a bigger splash together and collaborate, let's do it. Anything out of that, um, it's I'm so sensitive and conscious that I can see things from a mile away. So like nothing comes into this arena. Nothing will call my phone. No nonsense will call my phone. I'm zero tolerance BS. You with me? That's how I've had to be through my trials and tribulations of being through some real hardships of life, all the prison cells, near-death experiences. That's why I am the way I am now. I have to minimize the risk and safeguard myself and the mission.
You can tell a kid not to touch the hot stove, but the kid has to touch the hot stove
exactly,
to find out it's hot.
Yeah.
So you're teaching your kids and raising them in a principle of you need to stand on your own 2 feet, and I'm not going to hold your hand through every step of life. You need to figure it out by yourself.
No, it's not holding the hand. I give him wisdom. I give them insights, and then they have to experience, because that's all you can do. There's no point saying, "No, you can't do that. You can't do that." I don't do that. I give them the information. Just like when I go into a school, I'll go, right, I'm not here to boast, to glamorize of what I've done, where I've been, or what I've got. I'm here to give you information. What you do with that information is totally up to you. It's no skin off my nose. But what would be great and fabulous if you take that information in, and then I see you on the TV, or I see you doing this in 5 years, 10 years time, because you've implemented the information. If you don't, it's no skin off my nose. So it's the same as my kids. When they're not kids, young men. I treat everyone the same. I don't care if you're my kids or my nan or my mum or whatever. I treat every human being the same. I don't care if you're Muslim, Christian, Hindu. I don't care. I'm treating you with the same as I would my own family or A, B, and C. That's how I've been built. You've got to treat people as people. Do you understand? I'm wired a little bit different. That I treat everyone the same, with the same A, B, and C, and I will treat the same. Yeah, it's just how I've evolved, and it works. It works if you work it.
Dwayne, speaking to you, I can't believe that you used to run around with knives and get involved in whatnot, because you are a completely different person to what you would expect with someone who has lived that certain life.
Yeah.
It's been amazing speaking to you. I know you've got your own business. Do you want to talk a little bit about Dwayne Nathan Jack and kind of what you do with your consultancy before we wrap up?
Of course, yeah. So I've got we've got Roadlight Limited, that we've gone into the prisons and done interventions, rehabilitation, and resettlement. That company provides education, training, and mentoring for young people, adults, and corporate companies. And then the Dwayne Nathan Jack is the Dwayne Nathan Jack brand, where I have private clients from all walks of life, bankers, entrepreneurs, business owners, leaders. And I've got programs of the I Am Way, and I do speeches around the country. And yeah, I've got many awards for the leadership of some of the achievements I've managed to achieve. And it's based around the I Am methodology that changed my life and changing many people's lives within the world.
Dwayne, I'll leave a link down in the description below to your work, because it's brilliant what you're doing. So thank you.
You're welcome.
It's been great speaking.
Great.